Hello everybody, so today we will speak which country is better for living, so Turkey or Northern Cyprus. We decided to make this video because now in many countries there are a lot of problems with climate, economy and other things, and now people choose countries where it is better to live. But it is really difficult to live in some European countries because it is difficult to get residential permit. Even in Turkey now it is difficult to get it because government closes different regions for this. And in this case, Northern Cyprus is the best place because it is easy to get residential permit. So now we will speak in interview about all these details. So where it is better to live, in Northern Cyprus or in Turkey. So let's go. My friends, now we will speak with Altynai. She works in our company and she knows everything about property in Northern Cyprus and about property in Turkey. So she will tell us all the details. Hello, Altynai.
Hello. Hello.
Altynai, please tell us how long you live in Northern Cyprus, and what do you know about property in Turkey, all these interesting details.
Well, I'm actually a real estate agent in Northern Cyprus at the moment. And I agreed to star in this video initially, yes, a comparison of Turkey and Cyprus. Because before that I also lived in Turkey for 3 years. I've been here for 4 years, 4.5. It has already been the 5th year in Northern Cyprus. In fact, this is my second visit. That is, in the 2016 I arrived, lived for 2 years, got married. My husband and I lived in Turkey for 3 years. My husband is a Turk. And well, in principle, Turkey is beautiful to walk, but it didn't quite suit me for life. And when he retired, my husband, we went back to Cyprus, because Cyprus has always remained in our heart. He named it, and we, without thinking for a long time, still considered, of course, Antalya and other cities in Turkey, but for some reason we were drawn to Cyprus and we are now in Cyprus and very happy.
Please, can you tell what difference between Northern Cyprus and Turkey? So what things are different here?
Well, it's partly Turkey. It is not that it is not Turkey at all. In fact, the local population from the roots are Turks. Yes, the Turks, but they have become Cypriots. The island was also inhabited by the British and Greeks. Yes, they certainly do not look like Turks with Turkey, and yet over the years they have a different mentality. But in fact, it's the Turks who live here. Yes, the local population is Turkish Cypriots, but they differ in mentality and in general. The territory of the island actually belonged to the Ottoman Empire completely. Since the 1572 years, that is, it was completely inhabited by Turks. In fact, later there will be a question about titles, which lands belong to whom, and we will return to this Ottoman Empire.
Altynai, many people think that Northern Cyprus is Turkey, but it's not like this, so can you please tell us why it's not Turkey?
In fact, there are many differences in the plan. So I started with the mentality that these Turkish Cypriots differ, firstly, in their mentality. Secondly, Cyprus was once an English colony and many local people, most of them know English on a par with Turkish. That is, 2 languages go at the same time. It's like in our country, for example, everyone knows Kazakh and Russian, right? That is, education is also according to the British system. According to the old system, this is all left. But Turkish is mandatory in all educational institutions, schools, universities, yes, completely in English. But Turkish is mandatory in schools. But this is necessary so that in the future the language does not take root at all.
So the first difference is that native people here are different, and the second one is language.
Yes, the language. And there is another difference. I have lived in Turkey. I really love her Turkey in terms of. But it is not suitable for everyone. She's more religious. For example, the same Cyprus may not suit everything. Because there is a more secular state here. Yes, someone wants a Muslim country. Yes, I tell them right away, you'd better Turkey from your customers. I have such people, yes, clients. Kazakhstan is also considered a Muslim country, but it turns out it's somehow not fanatical. It's not much propagandized. It's free. Well, who is at what level? Someone just has it in their heart. Yes, someone will grind again. Someone is against those who openly dress. In Turkey, for example, a little bit, yes, there is such pressure. Say, well, maybe a little bit. Or it will seem a lot to someone. It didn't seem so much to me, but for Europeans, for Christians, so to speak, Turkey may not be quite suitable, because it is a more Muslim country. And Northern Cyprus is a more secular state. Here people don't care, yes, who believes in what, who walks in what and. Well, this is the second one, probably. Well, not the second one, but the third. Yes, the third distinguishing feature of Cyprus and Turkey.
So please, can you tell us where climate is better?
I think that, of course, Cyprus is warmer, but Cyprus is a small island. Well, absolutely, right? Here you can get from one end to the other end in an hour and a half. And Turkey is a big country. There is a very different climate, and in different areas it is completely different from each other. For example, the eastern part, the borders of Georgia, Armenia, they have 8 months of winter, 2 meters of snow. That is, in the summer they have, well, 2 weeks of summer only. And practically t-shirts and shorts are not worn there in the summer, because it's a cool summer. Antalya and Alanya are the coast that. The middle, well, central Turkey, it's also just like Lefkosh, yes, due to the fact that there is no outlet to the shore. There are no winds, breezes, a little bit of such heat, stuffiness in summer. There is a different climate. But Cyprus, of course, has a climate for me, I think it is the most ideal. Firstly, because we don't have an abnormal heat wave in summer, 55 degrees there, I don't know, like in Dubai or somewhere else. There are no tropical torrential rains, as in Thailand, there is no cold winter.
So the main question of our video, I think, so Northern Cyprus, is it cheap or expensive?
Yes, in fact, today the prices are not last year's, they are very different. They are at least 40% different. Why? What is the reason for this? Yes. Rising prices, the cost of apartments. Now, for example, the cost of an apartment 2+1 is approximately, say, if it varies 50 to 60,000 pounds. This is only according to today's calculations. And this property will still be under construction for a year, 2, 3, yes, that is, in the future. Prices may still rise for some materials. That is, another plus is imposed on prices. As they say, there are some risks in the future for a rise in price for windows, doors, and so on. Also, what else? Well, in principle, this is coastal real estate. In fact, there is not much space left in the world, yes, so that it is not built up on the seashore. And even more so, these are sandy beaches. The beaches of Northern Cyprus, they are considered, well, not afraid of this word, they are the best in fact. And the sea, and the beaches, and the quality of the sand. And therefore, of course, and by location it is not somewhere in Africa or there, I do not know, on the equator. In Asia. Yes, it's just a stone's throw away. Here we have Israel, Europe. Yes, here we have Turkey. According to the location, this is an ideal place. The prices of all this they make up. And of course there is demand, great demand. Where is 30–50% of the property being sold at the stage of the excavation drawing? Nowhere, I think. Yes, that is, the objects are completely sold off before the end of construction or even earlier. That is, there is a very large demand. There is no such demand anywhere in fact. And then, in addition, I believe that they are adequate prices. They are high, but they are adequate.
You told that the first price is 60,000 pounds, so, and the main price is what, for 2+1?
Depending on where this apartment is 2+1, land. If it is built somewhere on the territory where there is no infrastructure, there are no beaches, it will be in the region of 90,000. Land is more expensive, of course, near the sea, near tourist areas, resort areas, it will be at least 130. Well, that is, the price here in Cyprus is not per square meter. Everyone is talking about it. And here is a completely different view from the window, proximity to the sea, the surrounding infrastructure. All this in general makes up the price. And if you pay, you want cheap, then you won't get liquid, right? If you want something liquid, for the soul, such, well, how to say, more. I can't remember that word right now. What do you want to say? VO, I remembered everything. If it's to satisfy your whim, yes, in fact there are some areas that are not suitable for living, but they have wonderful views. Landscapes. That is, on one side of the mountain, on one side of the sea, yes, that is, there are such places reserved, I would call them. Where, for example, it is more for the whim of this luxury. That is, you have to pay for what you want. If you want luxury, pay more. That is, there are different stages, that is, who can afford what.
So now we can say that it is in the middle, not so cheap and not so expensive like in other European countries. So the other question, where property is more expensive, in Northern Cyprus or in Turkey?
Well, now yes, we have 2000 for the 23rd year. We're only talking about today. In fact, there are political, economic, and inflationary issues. Well, that is, it's all such a deep question. And in fact, it is today, if we talk about today, that prices have stopped in Turkey, continue to grow at the same prices for today. But I do not know what will happen tomorrow. And no one knows about it. In Turkey, why have prices stopped now? It's probably more political, right? Now is the pre-election time. Next presidential elections in Turkey will take place soon. And, of course, it is necessary to keep the economy going, so that in fact the economic situation around the world and in Turkey is not the best. And in dollars twice, and in general, the foreign currency in Turkey has doubled very much over the past year. That is, there is a very large inflation in Turkey now. They get paid all in lira, and not everyone can afford to buy real estate. Who had it? They, of course, increased in price a lot, because there used to be very cheap prices both in Cyprus and in Turkey. I will add that there are 80 million people in Turkey. Very big country, but also a huge population. That is, almost everything is already built up there. And how is it built up? Very densely built up, windows to windows. For example, again, I think the price is adequate in Cyprus. Why? Because there is a law for construction companies, for developers, that only 60% of the land they buy can be built up. That is, 40% of the landscaping should remain. That's why, for example, we have residential complexes with large territories, even pitchforks are being built, yes. They are 200 or 300 squares, and the land is 500. Although, well, everyone says, why haven't they built, yes, a villa or a house anymore? Well, because it is necessary by law to leave more land. And I think it's a plus on the contrary, because, well, when everything is paved, everything is house to house. But it's not exactly pleasant. Anyway, grass, at least a piece of land. It always seems to charge people with positivity, and in general we get energy from nature. And of course, this is a plus for health, first of all. Secondly, it preserves the atmosphere of the island. That is, we have green, beautiful complexes, and the sea, and it is not so densely built up, there is privacy. Well, that is, it's not exactly pleasant when you have windows 2 meters away.
So I heard that in Turkey they also close their windows because, for example, if your window is open, everybody will look inside, and you feel uncomfortable. So let's speak about this topic, property in Turkey. So what is the difference in property? So how they build in Turkey and in Northern Cyprus?
So, what can I tell you? They build in Turkey, Cyprus, and Turkey. And in general, the whole world is now actually being built by Turkish construction companies. They're good at it. It all depends on the class of housing. Again, I say yes, if it is economy class, respectively, the height of the ceilings, the thickness of the wall, and so on. It all depends on the class. If the construction company is set up specifically for business class, then they will have the corresponding quality there. I don't see much difference in quality. The only thing is, well, I myself was in Turkey last year, in Alanya. Before that, I was in Alanya for the last time in 2017. Of course, it has also changed a lot, it has been built up. It was once like a village, yes. And now there was such a boom there, too. 5 years ago, now there is a completely different picture. I looked at real estate in Alanya. There, too, they are very good at building infrastructure, swimming pools, and sleeping. They have it all, too, just like we do. But the only thing, again, is in the built-up area, how spotty it is. Yes, well, it is built up densely in Turkey and how we have it all in a big way. Yes, everything is so somehow you still go out of the window, open it and just see a beautiful picture. And there you go out, yes, you have a pool downstairs, but here again everywhere at home, at home, at home. And well, the quality is the same. The only difference is in the landscape, in the infrastructure and in the distance from each other.
Now let's speak about residential permits. So now in Turkey it is really difficult to get it. So please, can you tell why it is easy to get it in Northern Cyprus? So you need just passport and money.
Well, it's just all the details. Yes, I don't know about obtaining a residence permit in Turkey. The only thing I know is that many people are being denied there now. In Turkey. This is because a recognized country, they are now dominated by residents of Ukraine, yes. First of all, they give them a residence permit. And there is a law on the district, how to say, for example, there is a Mamutlar district, say, yes. A maximum of 25% in this area should be foreigners. The rest must be local. That is, if in this area, the area is large, but there are laws, again, 25% can only be populated by foreigners and therefore not everyone has enough space, so to speak. And in the queue, Ukraine is first of all, and it turns out to the countries of other states, countries. Well, it turns out who is lucky or who has more money. Not everyone. In Cyprus, everyone is given. The main thing is that, well, as it were, there was a passport. Yes, they gave money and a passport, and a contract of sale or lease.
So if to speak about your clients, so do you have clients from Turkey, and why people from Turkey come to Northern Cyprus?
And this is again due to the fact that they do not approve of a residence permit, perhaps, yes, the first reason. The second reason is actually Northern Cyprus. Yes, once 2 or 3 years ago, it was very difficult for us to sell it, because people had to explain where it was at all, what it was, because people didn't know. Today Northern Cyprus is so popular, yes, all bloggers are talking about it. And in fact people are already. Well, after the quarantine, people's way of thinking changed. Yes, they understand that, well, they want to go to the sea. That's when they couldn't, there was no opportunity to relax, they learned about real estate in other countries, yes. The stars first of all began to buy. And that's how the advertisement went. Now Northern Cyprus is practically on everyone's lips. First of all, it has become popular and therefore from Turkey, not only from Turkey, and from Europe, and from the countries of the former Soviet Union, from all over the world. Now both America and everyone are investing in Northern Cyprus. Why? Because it is growing and developing, the state is young. And in fact, so to speak, experienced investors, yes, they do not invest their money in developed countries, because there is no prospect there, because there is already a peak, and here there is a growth prospect. All experienced, smart investors invest in undeveloped countries. Northern Cyprus, it is still young, not so developed, but we have a bright future. And according to forecasts, they generally say that Northern Cyprus will be like the second Dubai in the future.
So okay, we spoke about all people all over the world, but if to speak about Turkish people, why they come here?
Well, in general, we have a lot of hotels here on the island. The hotels are very even, well, there are super suites, good 5-star hotels, in no way inferior to hotels in Turkey. They are even, one might say, better. There are ordinary hotels and, in principle, they are filled for the whole weekend, holidays. There is no room available in any hotel for the summer at all. Why? Because Turkey and its population, they know that Cyprus is what clean beaches we have, what kind of sand we have, yes, that is. They love Northern Cyprus very much, they come here to rest and see that the market has come to life, that everyone is investing here. Why not? Yes. Firstly, who has money, who, again, may have it on a whim, someone wants to earn, rent, this is another question. But the fact is that Turkey, as well as other countries, have also recently been very interested in Cyprus. And there is also, in addition to the tourist advantages, weather and attractiveness, Northern Cyprus was originally considered such a student island. There are a lot of large universities here, international, accredited by England, America, that is, countries. Students from all over the world study here, there are a very large number of them. And renting is always here, year-round and for all real estate objects in any area. Well, where there are universities, so to speak.
So if to speak about scenes which you miss in Turkey, for example, and there are no such scenes in Northern Cyprus, can you tell us about them?
Here, look, here for now, again, I say, a young state. Here, in terms of shopping centers, what is now in large cities, in other developed countries, where people spend their time. But in fact, now their picnic areas have become more in fashion, open spaces, there are, I don't know, walks along the embankments. This, for example, seems like we don't have it, but we don't need it, as it were, because here more people get into the habit of spending time outdoors than going to shopping malls. That is, someone may lack this, who is used to it. I'm fine in principle.
So in my opinion, when you come to Northern Cyprus for living, you should understand that the first thing, you need a car, and the second one, that there are not so many entertainments here, I mean like shopping malls and something like that. The biggest part of your living here is resting, because even after work you can come here and swim in beautiful seas, so if you understand it, Northern Cyprus is perfect for you.
And yes, and many more complain that it's boring here, yes, that there is no entertainment. In fact, compared to Turkey, I think that on the contrary, it's more fun here. In terms of here are the same hotels that they arrange every holiday, every weekend, concerts, yes. Every year we have a Russian bandstand coming to the opening of the seasons, yes, from the closing of the season here. And they gave not only paid concerts, they even gave free concerts. Arash came here, and Tamati. That is, it was all free. It was sponsored by the owners of the hotels. There are a lot of all kinds of holidays held for free and in the summer on the same beach. We are now on the beach of Yenibwadaki. This is a Hulk beach, that is, a public beach. Foam parties, competitions for children are held here every summer and it's all free. That is, in winter, too, there are concerts in all hotels. There are a lot of diasporas here, Kazakh diasporas, Russians. They are constantly going to their holidays all the time, they are all very united, well, positive and, well, as they say, they do not miss any reason, yes, to take a walk. Well, they just need an excuse, as they say, right? Here, so I wouldn't say it's boring here. Just the same in Turkey, for example, when the season ends, tourists leave. In winter, in the same Alanya, there is such silence, such boredom in fact. In Cyprus, it's actually more fun.
So please, can you tell us about titles in Northern Cyprus? So what is it and for what is it and what is difference between them?
Well, let's take a closer look at Northern Cyprus now. That is, you promised to tell us a little about titles, because such an important topic, many do not understand it. That is, you can briefly tell me in general what it is, why it is needed. We have Cyprus, because it is a land for which there have been more than one war. Yes, it's actually such a chocolate place. And there are 3 titles of the land, which are connected with the fact that the population was constantly changing here. Yes, someone seized, then others came, some left. It turns out, in general, here again I will return to history, yes. This is actually the Osman Turkish land completely, and the Greek side as well. But again, after all these historical events, it turns out that the lands gradually acquired some kind of title. There is a Turkish title, which once always belonged to the Turks and, that is, until today, all the time belonged to the Turks. Yes, that is, there is an exchange title. These are lands that belonged to the Greeks, but when the territory was divided into 2 parts, the Turkish Cypriots in one direction, the Greek Cypriots in the other direction. It turns out that the lands that belonged to the Greek Cypriots, they exchanged. That is, they were given them in exchange for this land on the Greek side of the land. That is, it is an exchange title. That is, they do not claim it. These are 2 safe titles, the Turkish title and the exchange title. There is a title taxi driver, yes, this is a title that once belonged to a Greek, and they, who can be, well, during the war they may have disappeared or else, yes, it turns out these lands are a little controversial. Sometime, I do not know if suddenly there will be 2 parties to unite, Northern and Southern Cyprus. There is a possibility that some heirs may appear or something else will claim these lands. Yes, that is, or the Greek state itself will ask for this land, yes, here you have bought a house, you live in it. In the future, for example, there was a reunification of the 2 sides, the state, for example, Greece will ask for some kind of duty from you. Well, what amount will it be? 5, 10, 20,000 euros. Well, it's not clear, right? But there are such risks and that's why we mainly try to sell a Turkish or exchange title, because we work with whom? With foreign buyers, with the Russian-speaking market, with the Baltic states, with Europe, well, that is, all foreigners. And that's why we need to sell what is safe. Why? Because we are intermediaries, like a real estate agency. Firstly, we already have some kind of legal responsibility. Yes, we should sell something that does not have any controversial issues. Secondly, again, the reputation of our real estate agency is very important. Here in general, in fact, in Cyprus, reputation is a very important matter. A very small island, everyone knows each other and rumors spread very quickly. And therefore, if only someone could push something, so to speak, yes, this will not work here. This will ruin the reputation of both you and the company, and in the future, well, there will be no trust in you and perhaps there will even be some problems with the law, yes, well, that is, it is unsafe.
So many people are frightened because Northern Cyprus is recognized only by Turkey. So please, can you tell to people why it is safe and that it is not dangerous?
Look, it is recognized by Turkey today, but how can I say that in 1974 there was a war and, as they say, Greek Cypriots in one direction, Turkish Cypriots in the other direction. A state was formed as Northern Cyprus. No one has recognized him yet, but in 1974, a decree was signed on a truce, that is, as they are called, on a ceasefire, right? And for 50 years. And the 74th year. We are now in the 23rd year. 49 years have passed, but it was signed for 50, that is, the last year is left, right? And after that time has passed. Just a little bit, too. Yes, there's a year left. There are two ways out. They will gradually begin to recognize Northern Cyprus, or, yes, let's say, well, I don't want to scare people, yes, well, war. But there will be no war, because behind us, so to speak, Turkey is a great power, the strongest NATO army, 80 million people against whom? There are 20 million people in Greece. First of all. Secondly, they are both members of NATO, they cannot fight among themselves. The reunification of the two sides without a war, so to speak, is a very large financial expense. It takes approximately $500 billion to reunite the two sides. Well, imagine, no economy of any country will pull these costs. Neither England, nor Greece, nor America. That is, it is impossible. It will be the recognition of the Republic in any way. And what will happen? The price has doubled. Because here in southern Cyprus, which is considered the European Union, yes, prices there are 3 times more expensive. That is, prices will rise at least twice. And that's why now is such a critical year, when whoever managed to run into the last car, he managed. The second largest worldwide. There are no such resources anywhere in Europe. This, of course, will not be mined immediately. When there were 50 years of approval for, well, peacetime, so to speak, it was also prescribed in these conditions not to extract some minerals, right? And it turns out that this gas has been found so far, but it cannot be extracted yet. But as soon as they start mining it, you can imagine, yes, how the economy will grow, how prices will rise, how life will change here in general. And, that is, there are oil and gas fields where there are a lot of these natural resources of the country, yes. And what kind of economy they have. For example, on the example of Arab countries, we can say, on the example of Russia, yes, what minerals they have, what? Yes, well, efficiency and salaries, well, everything will rise here, of course.
Altynai, thank you for such interesting information, because even I didn't know some things, but I thought that I know everything about Northern Cyprus, so it was really interesting, and I think it was interesting for our audience. So please, our friends, write in comments why you have chosen Northern Cyprus, no Turkey, or for example, if you're going to live in Northern Cyprus, why you want to live there. So now it's time to say goodbye. I remind you that my name is Lily and her name is Altynai. So you were on channel Live Cyprus, we're gonna stay. Bye bye.